I'm Thayrone. It's On the Edge with me, Thayrone, here on Wham Talk 1600 every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. And right now I'm going to bring back up my guest. I'm going to bring back up Tim Walberg. He wants to be our congressman. I also have Rob Steele. And let's first welcome back Tim Walberg. Tim, welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back, and sure enjoyed being with you the last Saturday at the Tea Party rally.
Oh, that was great. That was a blast. And we'll talk about it in a second. Rob Steele was there, too. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to bring Rob up. Now, you got your first segment there, and we're going to have you guys together right now. And at the bottom of the hour, if Rob wants to stick around, we'll do a one-on-one with him. Are you cool with that?
That's wonderful.
Okay, let's do this. And I'm going to punch line one, and I'm going to say, welcome, Dr. Rob Steele. Is there a doctor in the house?
Right here on call, standing by for liberty.
All right. As I said on Saturday, you have captured the hearts of many people, and sometimes they're on a table screaming with their chest ripped wide open, right?
Well, I leave their chest closed. I work through the small tubes, not nearly so messy.
Dr. Rob Steele, heart surgeon, entrepreneur. You're running against John Dingell. You're on the air right now with Tim Walberg, and he's running against Mark Schauer. And, man, I'm telling you, I'm pulling for both you guys. So why don't you guys take it away and talk a bit here? We got about 5 minutes.
Well, Rob, good to hear your voice, and good to know that you're on watch there and on call. And so far, it sounds like you're doing a great job over there.
Well, we had our one and only debate last night, and it went well. It's now posted online. I don't have the link handy, but I know Monroe Community College, you can access it through there. So all the people that want to see what happened at the debate last night can log on and see it unedited in its entirety. Of course, the Dingell campaign didn't want it sent out live. There were all the major networks were outside the auditorium thinking they were going to hook up to a live feed, but they were stiff-armed by those that want to keep their record undercover.
Yeah, he was trying to keep. He wants to control the message. That seems to be a huge thing with the Democrat libs. They want you to hear only what they want. They don't want like Rob Steele coming in and taking issue with it.
That's absolutely true. The Dems want to control it. They want to use a fear and smear tactic and attack all across the country. I know Rob is being attacked. I am on Social Security, on outsourcing jobs to China, all of that stuff. And when, in fact, we're the guys doing just the opposite, protecting our future, trying to give a level playing field to our manufacturing, our business interests, so that we can compete as we will with quality and excellence any place in the world, and we will be the top competitor.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if I were to just come down to this planet and for the first time and turn on the television and see both of your opponents' commercials, I'd think, what, you guys are going to get a big bag of dough, like a Scrooge McDuck bag of the people's money. You're going to Vegas and you're going to put it all on red. That's their Social Security retirement. You want to just throw it away. Right.
That's the only thing they can talk about, fear and smear, and to play that cynical game on the backs of senior citizens, when in fact I was the guy that introduced the lockbox bill in Congress when I was there that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't let come up for a hearing that would have secured the trust and the contract. And then in the future, look at something that may even be better for younger employees to say, you can take a portion and you can manage your own resources for your future retirement days, and you'll be doing the responsible thing. You'll be helping the government, you'll be helping yourselves, and it'll be your money that you can pass on any way you want after your demise. That scares the liberal out there because that's control, that's liberty, that's opportunity for individuals to have their own lives.
Yeah, when you say lockbox, you're talking about, you mean people can't go into that fund and spend it for something else. It's solely for Social Security, correct?
Yeah, right now, the Social Security Trust Fund is a slush fund. It is basically a box of IOUs, and my opponent, and probably John Dingell, says to Rob, hey, what are you complaining about? Everybody gets a check every month. Yeah, but as long as China and the rest of the world countries that loan to us keep loaning us money, then that's true. But we're in deficit spending now in Social Security 6 years ahead of time. It was supposed to be 2016. This year we have gone in deficit spending. You don't run your business. You don't run your home. I don't either that way. We get a hold of it, and we need to do that in the federal government as well.
Absolutely. Dr. Steele, running against John Dingell, District 15. Tell us a little bit about the debate last night. What were some of the high points? Did you get across to Dingell that you're not in bed with Big Oil and Wall Street?
Absolutely. I was able to let everybody know that the congressman was the second largest recipient of BP funds by PAC in the House of Representatives. I was able to let them know that John Dingell voted to cap liability for the oil companies when they're drilling offshore. And as regards Social Security, I was able to let everyone know that the problem with Social Security, that in 1965, John Dingell actually voted to take Social Security out of its individual trust fund, because up until 1965 it had its own trust fund, but in 1965 In the Medicare bill, John Dingell voted to let Social Security go into the general fund. And so, in fact, John Dingell and John Conyers are the only two members in the House of Representatives today that have seen the looting of the entire Social Security Trust Fund be used between the special interest and career politicians for their re-election bids.
People, I hope you're listening to this, because the lies, the obfuscation coming from the liberal left, it's travesty. We just heard right here that John Dingell essentially said, let's take the Social Security fund that was locked up and let's spend it for other things, because don't worry, we'll replenish it. But yet, do you know that? Do you know that, voter? You better know that on November 2nd. So I want to, in the remaining 3 minutes, and Rob, you're going to stick around. We'll give you some alone time with Thayrone. That's scary, isn't it? But both of you, give us your 2-minute elevator door pitch right now. Let's start with you, Congressman Wahlberg. Tim, take it away.
Well, I think the key is we're looking here at the final 12 days of the election cycle is are you willing to accept no check and balance on this administration moving forward in the next 2 years? That will be done by keeping John Dingell and Mark Schauer in Congress. To put Tim Walberg and Rob Steele in Congress is to put a check and balance on this administration that stands for the people, stands for the Constitution, stands for fiscal integrity, and stands for liberty. That's a huge thing. Who is going to vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker next time? It'll be Mark Schauer and John Dingell.
Yeah.
Who's going to vote for a Republican, conservative Speaker to be a check and balance as well on this administration? It'll be Rob Steele and Tim Walberg, and I think that's the pitch that we need to get across. Absolutely.
Hallelujah. I wish you guys both the best. Doc Steele, minute and a half here, and we're going to keep you after, but what's your 2-minute elevator door pitch? Go for it.
Absolutely. We got to stop the incredible spending. Maxing out our grandkids' credit cards is not a financial plan. That's what they call it. The Democrats call maxing out our grandkids' credit cards a financial plan. I call it the theft of opportunity for the next generation. It's immoral and a disgrace. We got to have accountability. We need a Congress that will read the bill, follow the laws they pass, and we need some transparency. We need short bills on one topic out in public so that everybody knows what's in it. And those bills need a cover page showing where the money's coming from and where the money's going. And once we have accountability and transparency in government, we, the people, offering the consent of the governed, will be able to solve these problems very quickly. America's a country of solvers, doers, and fixers, and these problems will get taken care of quickly once we get out of the hands of the career politicians and special interests.
Amen. Listen, I want to thank both of you. Now, you're sticking around, Dr. Rob Steele. Tim Walberg, best of luck to you. If I could vote for you, I would.
Well, you can always move, but Rob needs your vote. So,
I'm going to Chicago and voting for you 3 times.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Tim Walberg. That's
Congressman.
Walberg for Congress, WalbergForCongress.com. Get over there. We're going to talk with Dr. Rob Steele and get some more information on the debate.
Had our debate last night. That was a great time, and it's now up on the air. Monroe ISD, the Monroe Intermediate School Board District, has the entire thing posted up on their website. What
is the website, monroeisd.org or edu or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. We'll just have to search it out.
We're going to find that out. In fact, Johnny Danger, would you find that out, please? Monroe ISD is the school that it took place at. Now, tell us about the debate.
Well, it was at Monroe Community College. The college did a fantastic job. It was hosted by the president of the college, Dr. Nixon. And the congressman, Dr. Nixon, and myself were up on stage in front of a packed audience, a bunch of enthusiastic supporters of both campaigns. Well, enthusiastic supporters of my campaign.
How many people were there? How many people were there? That was wasn't that kind of like a closed house? They were trying to control how many people came in, no media?
Well, there was print media there, no cameras, no recordings. The only recording was done by the school district.
Okay.
Each campaign was given 200 tickets. We had about 2,000 requests for our 200 tickets. And then the college had about 100 tickets available for the public and for their students and so forth, and the students were there helping. And the college did a fantastic job.
Okay, so people can go and see this, and we're going to bring up the website here in a minute. We're looking for that now. Tell us briefly what it was about. I'm assuming you won that debate.
Well, the format was, unfortunately, a minute response on each question for each person, and then a 30-second rejoinder afterward, and so you couldn't develop anything too much in depth. But the only thing in debt, and that's the federal government right now. But we made our points. I mean, my goal was to distinguish the difference between a citizen who wants to go in and clean up the mess left by the career politicians and the fact that if you couldn't fix the problems in 55 years, they're certainly not going to happen in the next 2.
Excellent point. Excellent. I never thought of it like that. But that is probably the best plan I've heard of.
That was on the Mirrors news service out of Lansing. That was the quote of the day.
Yeah, that's the quote of the year, probably the last 55 years. Hey, listen, I have a quick question for you here because several have called in. In fact, one right now online wants to know the TV ads. People say they're not seeing your TV ads. I've seen them. They're running in regular rotation. Is there some reason when people turn on the TV they're not seeing a lot of them? Or what's going on?
Well, we've had ads up on cable for the past 3-4 weeks, and so those ads are targeted to only cable systems within the district. So if you're not in one of those cable systems, you're not going to see them. But tomorrow we'll be up on network and also radio WJR and WWJ. So, that's getting ready to change, and we've got some great new ads coming up, but we'll just have to wait until those get up there so you can see them.
Now, people coming away from that, do you think you picked up, in your opinion, was there any kind of reaction? Did he have, like, his supporters, were they screaming loud or yours? I'm trying to get a feel for this, let's say an emotional feel for this. Were people unruly at all? Did anybody yell anything out, or was it...
There was some enthusiasm expressed, mainly on my side. I think the Dingle supporters left thinking, man, I'm voting for that Steele guy, is what they thought.
Well, I certainly hope so. Okay, we've asked you this before. Allow me to ask it again. Now, you hit the ground running. What do you see? If you had to pick three things, you say, of course, when you get there, I think they probably take you into a room, don't they, and they say, you're going on this committee and you better stand down or you're not getting any power. I mean, is that somewhat how it works? And what are you going to do? The top three things you want to scream loudest about?
Spending, accountability, and transparency. We need to stop the out-of-control spending. We need a Congress that's accountable to the people. The way it's supposed to be. You won't hear me referring to voters in the district as my people, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And we need some transparency. We need those short bills, one topic, so that the people who can solve these problems have a crack at them.
Do you see that possibly, even though you're going there representing the 15th district, that it's time for all Congress to pull together and address some things nationally that are completely in flames, need to be dealt with, that I would argue transcend our state, even our state's in trouble now. I think that there's a lot of contributory, let's say, cause because of things that are happening nationally. How about the border? The border right off the bat, to me, is a steroids issue.
Yeah, well, we need to secure the borders. There's no question about that. That's number one before you worry about anything else. Secure the borders, and then pretty much the rest of the problem will take care of itself over time. But, the congressman was trying to act like the Democrats couldn't get done what they wanted because of obstruction by the Republican. And, of course, I had to point out in the debate that the only thing bipartisan in the last session of Congress was the opposition to these insane bills having to do with failed stimulus, the no-job creation bill, and the health care, not reform, health care destruction bill, I guess we'd call it. We have problems in health care, but we need to fix those problems and not upend the whole thing.
Yeah, and as a physician, you know this firsthand, so you're more than gifted at being able to get in there and to talk about this like you're in the belly of the beast.
Yeah, both on the provider-patient care end. I mean, we know what a disaster it is for the patients and the doctor-patient relationship with care controlled by, the Coordinating Benefits Council and the Health Information Exchange and insurance commissioners. But that's all, inside speak. But we just need to get the consent of the governed back where it belongs, and that's why you're seeing these independents rush in so dramatically, and why the people in Washington D.C. And, of course, you've heard Bill Clinton, President Clinton is coming into the district, and so that tells you where the polls are in my race.
Right, Clinton's coming into
Bill Clinton in here to campaign for John Dingell.
Yeah, I heard about that. I have to tell you though, with all due respect to every one of you elected hopefuls, for the longest time, people go to Washington, and then they get there, and something happens, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we want to cooperate and bipartisan and all this BS, when really what the people want, is somebody to get there and do the right thing, not just talk about it, but actually do it. So what are you going to do to, guard against that hedge?
Well, what you want and what the Founding Fathers intended were citizen legislators, people who had a successful job, career, profession, who had ideas, who stood up and said, I'll participate, to go there and make their contribution and then go home and live under the laws they passed rather than spend your whole life there, and inherit something from your dad, which it's not the way it was intended.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will be pulling you as well as all of our other elected officials in 1,000 different directions, but where do you stand with people calling your office, being able to get your ear, and then not only tell you something that they might want to see you act on or get some information to you, but then follow up 2 weeks later and you explain why or why not this is happening? Are you going to have an open ear to the people?
Well, absolutely, because one of the big failings in John Dingell's 55-year career is his lack of representation for his voters here in the state of Michigan. He's represented a national agenda with Nancy Pelosi and has left his district and moved hard left. And what we've seen here is that in his years, I talked about this at the debate last night, in his years in Congress from 1981 to 1995, he was chair of the most powerful committee in Congress. And according to the United States Census Bureau, in those years, while he was chair of this most powerful committee, the state of Michigan averaged 46th out of 50 in return on federal dollars. And so the fact of the matter is it's the most unreported story regarding his 55 years is what a disaster he's been for southeast corner of Michigan. Thomas Friedman of the New York Times called him the single legislator most responsible for the collapse of Detroit and the chief pallbearer for the Big Three. The rank and file of the UAW has been decimated by the policies of John Dingell. The hardworking AFL-CIO skilled tradespeople are sitting around at home looking for work because of the policies of John Dingell, which has sent our money to Washington, D.C. It goes off to different states. And unfortunately, what's happening now, Thayrone, is our children are trying to follow that money wherever it went, and now the state of Michigan is getting older faster than Florida.
Isn't it 17 cents on every dollar that we send goes off someplace else?
Well, that was the average over 35 years, and it's bumped up just a little bit, and he was bragging about how we're up to 92 cents, but what he didn't say is that most of that money was borrowed from the grandchildren who had nothing to say for it.
Yeah, and where I was going to go with that is why are we sending $1 at all if we only get back, if we have to leave 17 cents on the table? Why don't we keep it here? I'd like people to look into that. That's Looney Tunes.
That's what we need to do. We need to keep the money here and invest it in our own community, our own businesses, have our own R&D here in the district and hire the jobs here and put these people to work.
Yes.
The government can't create jobs. The government can prevent the creation of jobs, but they can't do anything to create them. We need the internet.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That is music to my ears and should be to everybody else listening out there. Government never creates jobs. Do we put somebody to work on a project on a temporary basis with government money? Sure, but we don't create jobs. Listen, Dr. Rob Steele, good luck, and you're doing short time.
Rob Steele for Congress.com. Everybody send $78, $1 for every year that there's been a John Dingell in office. We've got Clinton coming in to raise money for Dingell. We are doing great. We'll be on network, but every dollar we raise now will go directly to communicating with the voters. So no amount is too small, but hey, 78 is a nice round number.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Steele. Good luck to you. There's your next congressman in the 15th District. You just heard him here on The Edge, and we wish him the best. He's got the fire in the belly. I'm Thayrone X. You're on The Edge. We'll see you in a minute. Hang tight.